2 Decembers ago, when children chose their roles for the Christmas Eve service, Sarah and I gathered our boys to ask which part of the story they wanted. Samuel, 4th grade then, asked for any speaking role. You see, Sam leans toward a microphone the way sunflowers turn toward the sun. He gets that from his mother. But Benjamin, only in 1st grade, surprised us. He decisively announced that he wanted to be an usher. Not a shepherd, not Joseph, an usher. No microphone necessary. When the day arrived, Ben picked out his clothes and came early, as ushers do. He took his place by that door, neat stack of bulletins, storage bin filled with candles. He extended hospitality with tenderness and seriousness, a solemn Merry Christmas to go with each bulletin and candle. And then his moment came. He lifted his tiny torch, flame trembling at the wick, and made his way down the aisle, pew by pew, touching light to wick. I have a picture someone snapped at that service. Ben, half hidden behind the glow he carried, a child pushing back the dark, one careful step at a time, ushering in the light. I remember how taller kids on the aisle leaned over to meet his flame, how they bowed to receive the light. You have a candle, unlit for now, waiting. And so are we. We come tonight carrying our own heaviness, the grief that pulls at the edge of sleep, exhaustion that doesn't leave us when the morning comes, fear that wakes us at 3 a.m. and won't let go. I know that some of you weren't sure you could walk through these doors. The empty space next to you is a dagger in your heart. You are here by sheer will, hanging by a thread. And the collective pain of a fracturing world, well, that is in this room too. Cruelty no longer hides, it parades. Hope feels foolish when the darkness is so deep, and yet you came. By habit or nostalgia or a flickering faith, you might find something worth the effort if you did. And what I want to give you tonight is a floodlight. I want something brilliant enough to chase away every shadow in your life. I want something strong enough to burn away what is broken in you. I want something broad enough to show precisely where the path is leading. But Christmas is not about clarity. It's about trust. On this night, an usher gave you not a floodlight, but a candle. Not much use on dark paths. Barely enough light for the next step, no farther. And so it is that candlelight demands we walk by faith. Candles don't roar the way bonfires do. They cast a quiet illumination, and that's how it happened. You know that, right? That's how it happened. When heaven opened that night, the angels did not appear in the town square or the temple courts. The powerful were given no notice. The miracle skipped every brightly lit home at every respectable address in town. Instead, it spilled out over a hillside of shepherds, ushers, people who smelled like animals and wood smoke, men kept at arm's length by polite society, and there in those unremarkable fields, far from any sign of civilization, the glory of God gathered around the most forgotten ones. Their first words, "Fear not, fear not." Oh, there was plenty to fear. Luke says the shepherds were terrified. Listen to me. If you feel unseen tonight, if the darkness is deep, if fear haunts the quiet of your heart, know this: God moves toward the darkness. God comes to the forgotten first. God sees you. And so the baby is born in a stable. Mary, bone-tired. Joseph carrying worry like a boulder. Animals breathing cold mist into the air. The smell of damp straw, born to refugees who would flee in the night. Born under the threat of slaughter. There was plenty to fear that night. And so God did not blaze. God slipped into the cracks where the light gets through. God crept into the darkness with a faint flicker of hope. You do not have to be ready this night. You didn't need to bring anything with you. God will find you, even in the deepest darkness. John tells it this way: the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. The light shines, present tense, not shone one time long ago. Shines here, now, in this room. Now listen, the darkness is real. It is not a metaphor. The grief, the fear, the weary corners of our spirits, all real. But the light, also real, also near. And as stubborn as this ancient story, the one that will not let us go, the one we tell each year, the one who tells us who we are. And here is the promise of Christmas, that the darkness has so far failed to overcome it, that there has always been just enough light for the next step. On my sabbatical this summer, against the advice of wiser and more seasoned friends, I was hiking alone in Glacier National Park. I lingered too long on the trail. I took too many pictures, so many that my phone battery died, and then darkness began to gather. There was no moon, I had no map, nothing but a long trail and growing panic. Then just ahead, two campers wearing heavy packs. To me, they looked like halos. We had the brief exchange hikers share, but the truth is I didn't want to show any weakness. I wanted to act as if I was doing just fine out there on the trail with no light all by myself as darkness fell. And so I moved to pass the two of them, and that's when the woman called to me, reached into her pack and held out a flashlight. This flashlight. Here's what she said. She said, "Take this. It's not very strong, but you need it more than we do." Now, she was right. It's not much, and I needed it. What it did was light the next few feet, and then the next ones, and the ones after that. And 2 hours later, a couple of feet at a time, I made it to the trailhead with just enough light to find my car. And that's how Christmas comes. A stranger in the darkness will say, "Here, take this. It's small, but it will be enough." And somehow, despite every odd stacked against it, candle to candle, the light keeps shining. From a prison cell in Berlin in 1944, awaiting execution, Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote, "I believe that in every moment of distress, God will give us as much strength to resist as we need, but it is not given to us in advance, lest we rely on ourselves and not on God alone." Just enough. Fear not. Following his call to shine cost Dietrich Bonhoeffer everything. But he would not hide his light. Just enough. Just enough for the next breath, the next step, the next midnight. And so tonight we gave you a candle. And the truth is, on its own, it won't help you much when you walk out of here. There will be times of overwhelming darkness. You will be lost and filled with fear. Challenges you cannot now imagine will crash down on you this year. And when they do, the flickering flame will feel too small to matter. But do not be fooled. It offers what you need. The Word became flesh and moved into the neighborhood, into our grief, into our fears, our lonely hours, our midnight cries. God became small enough to fit in a manger, small enough to need us. And so there was just enough light to see by, just enough hope to begin again, just enough love to steady your feet. And so here is what we will do. In a moment, we will share this light, candle to candle, wick to wick, hand to hand, soul to soul. And as we do, I will think of Samuel, my speaker, bold and leaning into sacred words through the microphone. "Fear not." And I will think of Benjamin, my usher, stewarding holy light with reverent care. And I will think of that stranger on the trail who handed me this beacon. Not much, but you'll need it. And together we will watch this sanctuary brighten. Light gradually gathering its strength against the chaos. Each flame small, fragile, together somehow enough. And so here is the truth, the message I hope you receive tonight. The light persists so long as we keep sharing it. The powers that profit from darkness and feed on fear will not welcome it. But any power that needs to make us afraid or insists that the vulnerable vanish is on the wrong side of Christmas. The child born this night will not excuse our indifference. Do not be afraid. Leave this place carrying fire. It's not much, but you're going to need it. Let the darkness rage. It will not win. For Christ, our Savior, is born.